Hello everybody, join me on another walk, this time in the evening, and I'm really hoping this helps us potentially see some wild mustelids. Let's see what we can find. I'm just on my way to a little woodland that's best part of an hour walk away from where I live, and I'm walking down this public footpath at the moment. It's called the Marriott's Way. It's pretty extensive. You can see all that way behind me and all that way in front. This is a great little track to walk down, and you pass by a lot of kind of wooded areas, fieldy areas and stuff like that. And just coming up now on my left hand side here is a wildlife trust area called the Sweetbriar Marshes. I actually run a little walk here on a monthly basis. It's something that I'd been meaning to do for a long time. I'm really hoping that the woodland that I get to, one, has the potential for mustelids. I'm pretty sure it's a good ground. We're gonna have to see if there's any rabbit activity. In fact, recently, I'll have to say it now because this is a good time to say it. I've actually found a polecat. Unfortunately, it was dead. So this is how they say that you'll typically see a polecat, is as roadkill. And as I was driving along to a wildlife site, I actually managed to spot one. So here is some footage of that now. I actually saw, two dead polecats and a dead ferret actually on the same bit of road. But that was my first one, my first polecat in the wild. The recording that I got was actually of a little baby one. Really sad, poor little guy. So I'm hoping this woodland that we get to has got some good wildlife potential. It's a fun place. It's nice. It's got a pond there as well, which is really cool. And there's a little stream. And because I've got this camera, I'm hoping to put it in the water and see if we can get some shots of some little fish. Hopefully we see some more cool stuff. And as I said, this is the evening. So this is kind of perfect mustelid time. I'm hoping that if I actually do see something, I'll be able to get it on either one of my cameras. I've got this camera obviously, and then I've got this camera, which has certainly got a bit more zoom. Here we go. So I'm just walking past the marshes that I get to do a guided walk around every month. At some point I should probably do a video around the site and show you some of the plants and animals that are there, because it's a really cool site and very lucky to have it on our doorstep. We have just got to a little bit of a meadow before the woodland I'm after, and I thought this would be a good place to come down and check for signs of rabbits. I'm hopeful, but there's also some less densely vegetated areas a little bit further up. Once I get through all these thistles with my bare feet, we'll get to a woodland, and then there's some fields to the other side of that. I'm hoping they might yield something good. Before that, there is actually going to be a little stream, so we're going to check that out. I'm getting close to the river now, and look at all this amazing mint that I found. I'm not sure what variety it is, but it definitely smells good, and there's a whole load of it. It'd be good to make a little tea out of if you're out in the wild. I'm also seeing a lot of this plant. This is called meadowsweet. Like a lot of the plants that I try and show on this channel, it's got many healthy benefits, some similar to other plants that we've looked at. You might recognize it. It's a very pretty plant, and as you can see, it can grow quite plentifully. We have now made it to the stream. While it is a very shallow stream, I've seen a good few fish in there, and it does get a little bit deeper up here. So let's have a little explore and do a little bit of underwater filming. Oh, thistles and nettles. Oh my God, send help. This little part of the stream is really cool. Me and my daughter found a really, really awesome rock here once. I'll see if I can find it and put it on the video. But yeah, this is a great little part of the stream with some good memories. We have made it to the wood and the fly has just gone in my eye. I'll tell you what, I've not been down here in a little while and it is pretty overgrown. There's some cool bamboo here, getting pretty tall. Non-native, but I do love a bit of bamboo, to be fair. And here we go for the first plunge. One sec, let me clean the lens. There you are. I'm very surprised that there are so many fish around. I dunked my camera in there and they were very keen, so that's exciting. It's actually a lot dimmer here than it looks on camera at the moment. We're getting towards sunset. It is 20 to 8 at the moment, so we're going to make our way through this little wood. This is unfortunately the pond. This is usually a lot more full. I've seen some really cool freshwater clams in here cleaning the water before, but it looks like the current UK heat wave is getting to it, drying it out pretty substantially. So I feel like coming back here in the autumn to show it off is probably a good idea. The water is looking relatively murky as well. It makes me feel like the clam situation may not be as good as I thought it might be, and I really wanted to show that off, to be honest with you, but maybe today is not the day. I don't quite know what these are, but look at these awesome fungi and look at the brown patches that they're producing. I'm assuming these are kind of like spores or something, although I couldn't tell you for sure. Every day is a school day when you see something new out in the woods. But yeah, this is cool fungus. Hello crows. And just up here is some horse fields. This is where I'm kind of hoping we might be able to see some little critters if I didn't get caught on a tree. But I am caught on a tree. We made it through. Oh my God. Now I don't think that was on screen, but I did hear a little rustle. These little pathways like this are kind of great for seeing a little dashing weasel or a stoat running across the path. Imagine if one ran out now. That'd be amazing. Something has happened since I last came down here. It was certainly not this open. I think there's a big tree that might have come down. I'm guessing it's that guy down there. Maybe. Rest in peace. Oh, there's a squirrel. That is a grey squirrel. So they are unfortunately an invasive species, and they've kind of stamped out the red squirrel to a big degree. The big problem with grey squirrels is that they carry something called squirrel pox. I believe they carry it, and I believe that they are immune to it. So not an ideal combination, because the red squirrel is not. And that is why the native squirrel here in the UK, being the red squirrel, is only found in some very rare little spots nowadays. Luckily, near me, there is a big forest called Thetford Forest, and I believe it may well house just a few. Maybe we'll pop down there and try and find them one day. They're making a comeback, and continued breeding of native predatory animals like the pine marten, which is another fantastic mustelid. They are actually helping to quell the grey squirrel numbers. This field here has got some horses on it, it's got some vehicles. I was imagining this might be a good spot. What we might have to do is stand here for a little while hang out on the margins of the field around this bracken and just wait to see if anything comes out. I've waited here just a few minutes. This isn't like a spot where I know that I'm going to find our mustelids. So I guess what I'm trying to do at the beginning of this channel is really scout out some areas that I think will work for spotting mustelids. So it looks all right. It's definitely lacking rabbits, and I think I can think of a couple of better spots. Just heard a rustle. And I'm not talking about my dad, whose name is Russell. Yeah, it looks like there's not that many rabbits around this area. However, one of the spots that we went to originally, that area definitely does have wild rabbits there. And I've got a couple of plans to head back there and do a little bit more of an extensive walk down there and maybe stake it out a little bit. I'm very hopeful. This is a very, 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 very sorry example of a mugwort. It is absolutely dry as a bone and wilting beyond belief. Yeah? But yeah, you can make a tea out of this. I quite like it. It's a good flavour. Couldn't really liken it to anything, I guess, but it's a good flavour. Apparently, you can potentially lucid dream via mugwort as well. Can't say I've done that yet. Maybe I'm not drinking enough. Who knows? Evidently all of it's wilting, but it is a plant that will come back each year. I actually pulled one out of our community garden that we look after and planted it in my garden at home. So I'm growing it in the garden and I've got a good few leaves from it. So yeah, fingers crossed I might be able to get a few more before it dies for the year. It's a great plant. It's one of those plants that the leaves can vary drastically from plant to plant depending on the conditions that it's growing in. But yeah, it's a really cool plant to know and to be able to spot. Here you can kind of see how wilted it really is, which is a real shame, but it's a really cool plant. I recommend trying to spot it and making a little tea out of it. Look at this. This is a field I've never really come across, but this is kind of perfect for the sort of environment we're looking for. Again, no rabbits, unfortunately, so there's no prey, there's no predators. There's some good little examples of some good habitats that are almost there, but they're not quite hitting the mark for what we're looking for because there's just not quite enough prey animals there. Going back to what I was saying at the start of the video, where I did actually see a dead polecat recently. That was very unfortunate that that's my first polecat. But as mentioned, that's kind of what they say is almost like an inevitability. And that is kind of like the situation that you're more likely to see a polecat in. So it was good to see that that's kind of the environment where a polecat can thrive. Unfortunately, it was next to a main road which they cannot thrive on, but around the area was a huge number of rabbit warrens, so that was really indicative of the sort of environment that a polecat is looking for. So for me it was very, very educational. It gives me more ideas for the future. Onward and upward. I'm walking back through the Wildlife Trust marshes area. I feel like I've joined a colony of ants. I think there's one on my forehead there, maybe. I've become part of the colony. One is trying to get in my ear, so that's cool. Maybe next episode I'm gonna be inside an anthill. I have no idea, but on a serious note, I do really love when the ants start flying. It's always a good time. I think there is something about the weather changing that causes them to spring forth in their winged beauty. I really feel like they are following me. Come on guys, I feel like I'm meant to be leading them somewhere. This is a real ant fest. They are all over me and they are either fighting or doing something a lot more friendly. I'm absolutely covered. I feel like I've become part of something that I was not anticipating. Look at all these guys. I've got to stop talking about these ants. I did come outside for a new experience, and it looks like I got one. So that's cool. I've got to get out of here before I get decked by these ants. I'll tell you that. I'll see you guys on the next adventure. Bye.